Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Doug Levi, Strategic Insurance Services. Having a great day here in Tampa Bay. Hope you're doing super. And wherever you're at on your journey, we are here to help. And today's video that I want to shoot is how to do an auto insurance proposal. So one of the most basic things that you're going to do and help people with wherever you're at on your journey is auto insurance. And so I want to try and shoot this video. I'm hoping in under 10 minutes will be my goal. Right now I'm at about 30 seconds. With how to do this, right? So our platform, which we use, is EasyLinks. You guys by now should already have your EasyLinks login if you're watching this video. If you don't, or you're having any issues with it, the best thing you can do is reach out to Joyce, okay? Joyce Golden's our operations manager, and she's the best person to reach out to. Joyce at getstrategicins.com. Again, Joyce at getstrategicins.com. Or you can call her. Her phone number is on our website. If you go to our website and look for our team, and you can find her phone number easily there. So enough on that. Once you're in EasyLinks, I want to show you how this would work, and I'm going to use me as an example here, okay? So you're going to log into EasyLinks. You're going to go right here. You're going to click Create New Applicant, okay? So I click Create New Applicant. That first page, by the way, is sort of your main home page. It shows all sorts of things, you know, in terms of texts that have been sent and emails and things that are going on with the agency and kind of some snapshot things. But right now you're going to go to, again, the Create New Applicant. It's going to pull this up. And now you've got an option here where you can say, I want to pre-fill drivers and vehicles. So I'm going to click on this, okay? And then I'm going to put in, I accept the terms and usage of this. I'm going to put in my name, okay, and my address. Okay, so we at least need that. Keep that in mind. We need our name and address in there. Okay. City's pulling through. The rest of it's pulling through. Years at this address. And again, I'm doing this for me just to make this easy. And then we would click Next. Okay. And then this is going to pull through a lot of the info that we may need. So basically, this is what's so beautiful about the system is there's a lot of info that's available via public records. So think about motor vehicle reports and I should say the motor vehicle database, if you will. Things like that, there's some public information that's available to it. So we're going to click on Finish, and then it's going to take me over into the auto quote, okay? Now, if it was able to find anything, it will put that in. So don't freak out if it didn't. If it does, great. And when I say that, it could be like your driver's license number and date of birth, and it is pretty good about finding some of it. And if it didn't, that's okay. Now you would just click and go what you want to do. And for this, we're going to go to auto. Okay. So we're going to click go to auto. And now I'm going to start putting in the info that I need. And really just think about this as, hey, this is my general screens of how I'm going to start helping someone with a auto insurance proposal. So here, the quote template, you don't really need to put anything in for that. This is going to show the different carriers that we have. I always recommend running all carriers. So right now we've got 8 carriers accessible to us. Okay, some huge names like Progressive. Everybody knows Progressive, Nationwide, Travelers, Safeco, which is Liberty Mutual, Mercury is very, very big, Infinity, which is now Kemper. Kemper's got a very, very big name. Bristol West, which is owned by Farmers, is pretty well known. National General. Okay, so we've got all those there. Then we're going to click on Policy Info. And then from here, any box that needs to be checked, it's going to kind of highlight and tell you, right? So prior carrier. So let's say the prior carrier had State Farm. We'll do State Farm. Okay, expiration. Let's say they're expiring at the end of the month. Prior liability limits. These are the limits of insurance. And again, this is where it starts to get a little more in depth into actually insurance. These are all the different coverage levels. So let's say they had 100, 300. That's 100,000 per occurrence, 300,000 if there's multiple people in the car or multiple cars involved. In terms of liability, years with prior carrier, years with continuous coverage. Now, some of the stuff you may not know, guys, I get that. Fill it in. Don't get hung up on it. Don't get super, oh, I don't know how many years I've been with the carrier. I don't know how many, you know, just kind of take a stab in the dark there. Now, I know that may sound, oh, I don't understand that. Some things are much more important than others, right? Like we need to be able to know, okay, their driver's license, their date of birth, if they had tickets, accidents. Some of these things aren't nearly as important. New policy, new term, I normally recommend looking at a 12-month term, and then we could always convert it to 6. The longer you lock in a rate, the better. And then if there's a package. Now, a package would be if we were doing home and auto. Now, Progressive, we can do home and auto, but for now, I'm just going to click no. Okay. Now, I'm going to click on the drivers. Now, this is going to be into the drivers tab. And again, if there was any pre-filled info that we can fill, we could click the pre-filled drivers as we discussed. If we don't have anything or nothing pulled through, we would just put in the info, right? So this is me. I'm putting in my date of birth. Okay. This is saying I agree. Now this looks like it is pulling through some of the driver search info. And it looks like it's pre-filling or looking to try and pull something here. I'm going to click cancel on this for now. And again, just put in my info. Okay. I'm just going to put me as single now. I am married, happily married, 9 years, 3 kids, all that. I'm just doing it for the purposes of this to make it quicker. I'm going to put in occupation. Okay. Now, if I had other drivers, here's where I would add other drivers. And if you'll notice right now, it's not even asking for the driver's license. It's not even asking for the social. Now it's going to ask for vehicles. So I'm going to put vehicles in here. And again, there's a pre-fill vehicle option. Okay, I'm going to click I agree on that. We'll see if this comes up hopefully a little quicker. Normally the system is pretty good. Okay, so it found the 2 vehicles I have, and that's very interesting. Again, so let's say you didn't even know the vehicle. Let's say you didn't know the VIN number. That's really the biggest thing. Maybe you don't know the VIN number. Most people know the year, make, and model they have. But even if you just have their name and address, and you could even tell someone if they're super busy, hey, you know what, I have a system that can pull a lot of data. We can see what's available out there and make it easier for you. You always want to make it easy for them, right? And that's what we're doing right now. So this is pulling through, you know, see I've got a Cadillac SUV 2013 and a 2017 Pacifica that my wife drives. So we'll click finish, okay? I'm gonna pull a lot of that info in, vehicle use, how is it used? Most people's either gonna be pleasure, like my wife stays at home, it's considered pleasure. Mine would be considered more of a work vehicle, annual miles. I'll just put 10,000. You don't need to fill in current odometer. Okay, ownership, whether they're leased or financed or owned outright. Okay, and you can see vehicle 2. So here I'll put to work. I'm very close to work. I'm like 2 miles. Okay, I'll put 5 days a week. And really all I'm doing is filling in anything with little red asterisks that it's asking me that I had to fill in. Okay. And then it's going to say I'm doing 100%. Actually, it's going to, again, because I'm only putting me in, okay, it's wanting to know 100% of each, you know, what the breakdown is between vehicles is what it's asking for, okay? So if my wife was on here as well, you know, it could be she drives the Pacifica 80%, I drive it 20%, and vice versa on the Cadillac. Right now, I'm just going to fill that in. Now we would go down to incidents, if there were any incidents, accidents, moving violations, etc. You can start to see it's already kind of giving me an estimated range of cost, okay? If there were accidents, you could add them here. Okay, I can say we haven't had any in the last several years, which is good. And then violations, if there were any violations, any comp losses. So you would have spots here where you would be able to add all of those, okay? And then I'm going to go to coverage. And right now we're at about 8 minutes so far here. This is where we're going to pick our coverages. So let's say it's 100, 300, 100, 300 uninsured motorist, medical payments. And really a lot of times I tell people, you know, your best place to start is kind of match what the other person has and then make recommendations from there. Now we're big on doing it the right way, recommending higher coverages to people. Things that they may not think of, uninsured motorist, rental car coverage, etc. But you always want to kind of start from an apples to apples standpoint. So you have a comparison, you have a way to compare. And then you can make the recommendations on from there, okay? And again, we would be doing this in a little more detail if this was a real proposal. I'm just trying to get through so that we can get some things through here. So now it's going to start asking some of the carrier questions. I'm just going to start filling these in terms of some of the carrier questions here, okay? You've got specific questions on these, guys, feel free to reach out to Leanne or whoever is on your team or certainly myself to help. Okay, and now I'm just following and just clicking the bouncing ball here. Now you can already see it looks like there's a little triangle. It's giving me some things that, because we're going through this a little more quickly, some things that haven't been fully done yet. Okay, it's asking my education. I will say this is a big one. Education is a big one. If you've got a college degree, you actually get a better rate, okay? So it's always good to do that. And then anything that I need to fill in, I'm gonna have to, you know, anything that's got an asterisk and a yellow box, I'm gonna make sure I do that, fill those in. Now I'm gonna click finish, right around 10 minutes, okay? Now again, it's probably gonna come back and kick me back to some of the things that we're showing the little triangles on, all right? And the system obviously is looking here, okay? So it's kind of, you can see very nicely, it's gonna say, okay, fix, what do I need to fix? So I'm gonna click here, it's a good example, so you see that. So I'm gonna click on, get a little sip of coffee here. While this is thinking. It's gonna take me back now to the screen that I need to fix. While this is thinking a couple things, it's gonna now highlight and say, okay, applicant info, it should show me what it needed in an orange box, okay? So I just didn't put my phone number in. So I'm gonna put in my phone number, okay? You know, and in general, guys, these are things that you would definitely want to be getting every time. You would certainly want to be getting phone and email at the very least, because the other thing you want to think about, just from a big picture perspective, you're not going to write everyone the first time, okay? You know, a good closing percentage is probably anywhere from 30 to 50%, right? So if that means if I talk to 10 people and I close 30%, I'm doing really well. And trust me, you can make a great living, you can make a great side hustle, part-time income by just doing that. Where I'm going with it, though, is the more info that you gather, the better job that you do, you're going to have a much higher chance of having it in an easy way where you could reach out to them in the future. So maybe I don't have the opportunity, I can't help them right now today for whatever reason, but I could pend it and maybe reach out to them in 6 months, right? So that's the idea. And the more info I have in the system, the more notes I take when I write down about maybe I didn't get it, and maybe they were with State Farm, maybe I was close, whatever it is, it's only gonna help you, okay? So now I'm gonna go back and I'm just gonna click on the other tabs that I see the little exclamation point with, okay? And it's saying here, total vehicle use must be 100%, so it was giving me a hard time about this, and let's see if that likes it now. And now I'll click next, and okay. And then the accidents here, I need to take out that. So there's a little delete button right here. This the system just released its 5.0 version, so it's good for new people coming on. This is all brand new to you. Some of this is even new to the team. So right here, if you look, there's this little trash can. I'm just gonna click that, remove that, okay? That should do that. And then we'll go back to, you know what, and the, vehicles is still giving me an issue, and it may be that it doesn't like that I'm putting only one vehicle and how I kind of put you know, the percentage there. So what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to look to see how I can delete this vehicle. If there's a way to easily do that, I'll go back to policy info here, and there's going to be a screen somewhere rating where it's going to say how many vehicles, and I'll put 1 instead of 2. Sorry guys, I know this is dragging a little here. Okay, so here we go. So there's a little button that says remove at the very bottom. So I'll remove that to remove one of the vehicles. Okay, now we'll say 100%. Okay, so just me, one vehicle, 100%. Okay, and now we're still just right about a little over 12 minutes so far. Obviously, this has been a little delayed. I'll click on the very last screen. Now here's where we get to the very last screen where we can then submit to the carriers. So now we can send it off to the insurance carriers. Remember, one of the cool things with EasyLinks is this system is your rater. In other words, instead of having to go out to each carrier, I have to go to Progressive, I have to go to Liberty Mutual, I have to go to Nationwide, I have to go to Travelers, which would take forever. You put the info in once here, and you're going to click submit to carriers. Excuse me, and then it's going to run through each carrier. So you're going to fairly easily be able to get a rate, right? And it's going to then let you know if anything's disabled. So it looks like right now Nationwide's disabled because of issues on their end. So I always say technology is great when it works. And then I'll click submit, and then this will give me the benchmark rates, right? So one of the advantages and things that you can share with people, one of your value adds is you are independent. And as this is thinking through, I really want to highlight that again, is that you are independent. You work for an independent insurance agency. So we're not tied to any one carrier. Our whole goal is to try and find people the best coverage, the best rates, provide them with the best service and the best claims experience when something does go wrong that's available. And we can do that year after year for them, right? My goal is to help clients, not just these carriers. Okay, obviously we have relationships with the carriers, we broker through them, but again, where I'm just really trying to highlight is we're on the same side as our client. This is something you can communicate with them, that you can really explain to them. And again, especially someone that may come from like a State Farm background, we never speak poorly about our competition, period, okay? I started my career at State Farm, great company. I like State Farm. However, all State Farm is going to be able to sell is State Farm. So they may or may not be the best option or best rate, where we can look at someone and say, hey, we've run 8 different carriers. So you know you've gotten a pretty good review of a lot of the market that's out there, right? That's the whole concept here. Now you can see here the quotes are running through, and it's starting to already benchmark and give me some different options. It's saying one of them needs some more info, okay? It's kind of giving me this graph view right here. So it's clearly already giving me some really good ideas of where my rates are going to lie. So it clearly looks like, okay, if I'm me here, Mercury's the least expensive right now, okay? And it's also giving me a potential term life quote right now, okay? If I wanted more info on life insurance, I could click that and it wouldn't take me somewhere else. I'll click no, I'll close that, okay? And then from here, in terms of answering the questions, we'll put that it's never been leased. And that'll tie off Bristol West here. And the nice thing too, guys, is you're thinking about this, all of these quotes are going to be actually saved on the carrier's websites. So really, as we would think through what the process is going to look like from here, once we get our quotes back, and again, I don't like to call them quotes. I encourage you to say proposals. It's a little more professional, proposal as opposed to quote, okay? And it's going to also show me any error. So here, this is a login setting for travelers that expired. Okay, so that's something you'd have to update on your end. But from here, you can do this. You can print the quote, the proposal, I should say. I normally do a summary version, and then I would click continue. And now it's going to allow me to download this as a PDF. And I've got this up here. And then it's going to benchmark and show me all of the proposal options by carrier, and it'll typically sort it from least to most expensive, see low to high. And this is also showing me based on a paid in full discount. So now from here, I would be able to save it. I would be able to email that to my client or my prospective client. And I always recommend too, I would save this and I would call it Levi Auto Insurance Comparison, something like that. So I know the client name, I know what it is, auto insurance, and it's the comparison. And then I would email that out to them, and then you would just go through the process from there. Are we close? Are we in the ballpark? Okay. If we're saving the money, great news, and highlight that. I'll call people, hey, great news, John. Great news, Amy. We can help you save money on your insurance. People love saving money. If you're close, then you can really highlight what we do. You can highlight the things that we do here, the value adds that we provide, the protection reviews, the claims service, the one-stop shop for all lines of insurance, the process that we have in place to make sure we're communicating with the client and getting them best rates and coverages each year and taking a look at that. Remember, people, a lot of times, prices, there's no doubt price is most important, but if you're close, you're not too far off, and you've done a good job for someone, there's a lot of times they'll still go with you. So that was an overview on how to do auto insurance. Again, we probably did that all in about 15 minutes. If you've got any questions, please feel free. Reach out to Leanne, reach out to anyone else on the team. You can certainly reach out to myself. I don't do these as often as I used to anymore on the personal lines because I do more on the commercial end. But I hope you can see, even not doing one in a long time and having a new system and having to stumble through a little bit, able to run a proposal fairly quickly. So dream big, make it happen, guys. Have a great day. Take care.